this is meant to be self-cleaning. Yeah, I don't think they've quite nailed the technology, but we're getting there. Gonna have a quick look at this Bosch tumble dryer. It's not drying anywhere near as good or as quickly as it used to. What we've got, it's a WTW 87560GB, but there's quite a lot in this series. Series 8 it is. They look very similar, so this should apply. It's obviously not the filters. We've cleaned them, both of the filters. What it is you can barely see it in there, is just down there in that dark hole is a condenser. We can't get in here really to successfully clean it. I've tried that in the past. So if you look at this bit here, if I put a light down there, you can see the light, the line. We're going to cut that off. Cut this panel out. This is a removable panel, and then we can get the replacement to go on the top and seal it. What that allows us to do is actually get in there with something sensible, a flat bladed screwdriver to straighten there's little fins or veins for the condenser in there. We can straighten them out and then get something, a bit of plastic or a cable tie. I'm using a bit of copper wire to drag all the fluff and everything out, and then we can get a hoover in and actually give it a good cleaning. Hopefully this will make the future cleaning of this a lot easier. Getting the last bit of it off now, and it should, once I get nearly down the bottom here. I scored it first, but it's fairly thin. I think it's just this corner here now. There we go. That was painless. Now we can get in and actually do something with the condenser. There you can see the fins. Basically what I'm using is a bit of copper wire, because there's lots of fluff that actually sticks to the side of these fins, and it's like radiators in your house. If all that dust creates, it's like an insulator. So we need to clear all that off. Or if you've got like a semi sort of stiff brush, anything like that, and basically gonna go through all of these, get all this fluff out, and now we can access this and get a hoover in there and clean it out. And if you've got some of these that have been bent over, just run a screwdriver down the middle of them and straighten them out, because we want the air to be able to get through there without being restricted. So you can just run it down. This also gets some of the fluff off as well, and then straighten them fins out, and we'll give that a good clean, hoover it out. And then our repair flap, I'll put a link in the description for that. Repair flap goes on there, and then in the future it should be easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this open. I've got to order this flap. It's going to take a couple of days to get here, so I'm going to leave this open, let the air circulate, because that's a gooey mess in there. I've got as much as I could off with a bit of wire. Next stage will be let it dry out. Hopefully I'll be able to get the fluff out with a vacuum and just finish it off. I've also cleaned the inside of it with anti-bac wipes to get rid of all the fluff that's stuck on the side there. We'll get this flap in, and then hopefully that's us sorted. Right, this is it cleaned up as best as I can get, but it's a lot easier now we've got access to this. Something I have noticed is just the tips of these fins. I don't know if you can make that out. Just started to, the aluminium's just sort of eroded or rotted. My guess is that's where most of the fluff was, being submerged in remnants of detergent or whatever. It doesn't like it, so it's started to, you can see it a bit better there, look. So yeah, you definitely need to keep on top of this. Repair kit's arrived. So basically this is what I've been using, the screwdriver. I modified an old brush. When that was dry, I cleaned it out, and then I gave it a bit of anti-bac spray in there and worked it all in, let that dry and cleaned it off. But this is the kit. That's the panel that comes out. Really easy to cut off. Just go careful, work away from the corners, because you don't want to slicing into this and splitting it. So if you're cutting this line, just start from there and work out. Start from there and work up. and the same, and that way you can't slip too far, because if you're slipping this way you're doing stuff you want to cut anyway. Here's the kit. It's quite simple really, it's just a cover, but it's got a seal on it, because obviously that's going to have warm moist air in there. You don't want that coming out. There's a cover, it's quite robust. It took about 4 days to get here, but I think it actually came from Germany, I believe. And then you get 6 torque screws, T15s, and then that goes on there. So let's get to that. Right, there's 2 locating pegs, one there, one there. One's bigger than the other, so that gives you an idea of which way around it goes. The top left is the small one. See, these holes are smaller. That one's slightly bigger than that one. So that goes on that way. Holes on there, and then T15 Torx drive. Just get one in loosely. Stick the other in, and then that's it. Fill your boots. Don't over tighten them, because we don't want to rip the threads out. It's only plastic we're screwing into. But what this means for us now is, moving forward, next time it needs cleaning, we'll get this panel off across the front here, take this off, and we're in business. Easy as that, rather than trying to manipulate something down the filter slot to clean it. Why this isn't standard, I don't know. But this kit fits multiple machines, so there's quite a few out there that are exactly the same. That should be airtight. We can clip that panel back on. I made a bit of a mess of this getting this off, but you can buy these for a tenner, so it's not the end of the world. Poke this in. Job done. When you take these off, get it off from the bottom. It's a lot easier to get it off from the bottom, because the top brackets are actually just hooks. If you try and take the top off, as I did, yeah, you won't do that any favours. Hopefully you like this kind of stuff. If you can, like and subscribe, and we'll see what we come up with next.